Hi, I'm Pat Manga, Director of Governance Education at NRECA. Welcome to Governance Talk. My guest today is Bud Branham, and Bud, you are NRECA's Director of Safety Programs. Welcome.
Thank you, Pat. Look forward to talking to you.
Glad to have you here. Safety is so important, and the electric co-op program has made such great advances, I'm going to say in the last 10 to 15 years, because of a focused effort on safety, largely due to your efforts and working with Federated and NRECA and all the co-ops together to put a focus on safety and move it to the top of the agenda and say, we're going to send folks home with all their fingers and toes and in one piece every day, and it's important and it's a priority. Have I got that right?
Well, except it's mainly due to all those guys in the trenches and the co-op trenches working so hard in operations and safety.
Well, sure.
And they're the guys that really make a difference. But yeah, it's they've done a great job. They've done a great job.
Very good. And I know boards more today than ever before are making safety their priority.
Yes.
They're focused on making a culture of, or setting the tone at the top for a culture of safety. You've seen that. Talk a little bit about what you've seen, the change there.
Governing safety for a board is really, really difficult. And it's always been difficult. And it's difficult because that fine line of not wanting to be operational and undercut their senior leaders.
Sure.
But yet still set a tone, like you mentioned, and keep a pulse on what's happening. And there's all kind of legal obligations and otherwise that make that very important. Not to mention, in our co-op world, they just sincerely care about people. And that's where the rubber meets the road. It's got to be from the heart.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So, with boards focused on safety, talk a little bit about how the board can monitor safety, set the tone and monitor it over time. What's that look like?
Well, let me start with this statement because I'd like the directors to really consider this statement. And the statement is, safety is not about the absence of injuries, it's about the presence of safety. So let me say that again. Safety is not about the absence of injury, it's about the presence of safety. So when a board is looking at how to affect safety performance, it's less about the numbers and the measures because those are all, the horse is already out of the barn on those things. So many boards focus on loss control reports, trends and graphs and those kind of things. You know, how many lost time injuries will we have? How many man hours have we worked since the last one? Those kind of indicators. The horse is gone on those kind of things. Those things don't drive the presence of safety. So board members should look at their role as what can we do to make sure that there's a presence of safety at our co-op through our senior leaders. I like to say to co-ops, when people come into your co-op, are they slapped in the face with safety? Does it touch them the minute they walk in, whether they're a vendor, whether they're a member, whether they're an employee? And that's where you want to get to. You want to get to that level of presence.
Of awareness and presence.
Of awareness, of focus, exactly.
Terrific. Palpable.
Yes,
the safety is a priority here from the time you enter the premises.
Yeah, that's a great word. I'm not used to big words like that. But that's great. Palpable is a great word.
So, Bud, there are three questions that you and I have talked about that co-ops can ask, and with regard to being focused on safety. Talk about those questions.
Yeah, that's great. You know, if a board member asks these three questions, I believe that if they can answer them with positive sincerity, that they will work to create a presence of safety. Number one, do you have an effective safety improvement plan? And to be effective, when you say effective, do you know the priorities for the coming year? Have you identified the priorities for the coming year? Are they clear? Are they meaningful? Are they going to reduce exposure to your employees and or improve your operational performance in a way to reduce risk? And is that plan monitored on a regular basis? Is it reported to the board on a regular basis? So it's not getting dust. It's not something you put on a shelf. You know, here it is at the beginning of the year, and then you don't even think about it to the end.
It's an active part of each board meeting.
Active. It's palpable.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that word.
You
Thanks,
used
Pat.
it again there. Yeah, I like that.
But seriously, that makes it effective.
Yeah.
The second one is, are your employees involved in safety?
Okay.
And all the studies show that the higher level of employee involvement reduces injury rates over time. The biggest hurdle in safety is overcoming complacency. Complacency is so hard to overcome when you do routine work like outage work over and over and over again. And it's like, hey, we've done this, we got it, we're experts, and you fall off the edge of the cliff. And but if you get them involved, actively involved in different aspects, whether you're a small co-op, medium, or large, employee involvement in terms of your priorities that are part of your safety improvement plan, part of your safety committee, part of your safety meetings and stand-down meetings, when they're involved, they tend to take ownership. And they will always be more aware and more engaged if they have ownership in it.
That makes sense. And so to kind of draw it full circle, the board, by making safety a priority, by saying we want and will have a safety improvement plan, we monitor it on a monthly basis, we pay attention to it, that trickles down through the organization, doesn't it, Bud?
Exactly, exactly. All that you have to do is set the expectation with your senior staff. And it's part of RESAP. It's what we preach in RESAP. And to be honest, Pat, we've been working at safety improvement plans in RESAP for probably 10 years, but we've struggled with it. We're not as effective as we should be, because in our business, especially in operations, it's giddy up and go. Yep. You know, you've got that non-deferrable work, outage work, new service work, you know, customer initiated work that's pounding you all the time. And so sometimes it's hard to get that, okay, let's figure out what our priorities are. And it's almost like a budget. You know, it's almost like creating a budget. So third, do you want me to give you the third one?
Yeah, give me the third one.
The third one is recognition. And you create a safety improvement plan. You create your priorities. You start to involve your employees in the execution of that plan, that the board members. And as that plan is accomplished, you ask your senior staff, whenever you see individuals and or safety teams performing at a high level and achieving results that are effective, that are meaningful, let your senior staff bring those teams or that individual to the board and recognize them. And I mentioned this the last time, but the board, it's the board's most powerful tool, because I've been with a lot of employees in co-ops, and you know, most of the time when you say, man, you got to go to the board, it's like, oh my goodness, what's that? It's like going to HR, right? But
Sure.
I flat guarantee you, when they get recognition from the board, when they get to share their ideas from their involvement that's part of a meaningful, effective plan, it will revolutionize the positivity in your co-op. And those three pieces begin to create a presence of safety that will increase awareness and act to reduce injury and risk over time.
Bud Branham, thanks very much for coming in today.
Thank you, Patrick. Always good to hang with you. Yep.